The world wants your heart. It wants your reaction. It wants your soul stirred, your pulse racing, your eyes wet. But what if you learned the cold art of not caring? What if you could walk through fire and feel nothing? What if you could master your emotions the way a king masters his court, strategically, silently, without remorse? Niccolo Machiavelli, the master of cunning, would never advise you to be heartless out of cruelty. No, he would advise it out of necessity. Because in a world ruled by appearances, to care too deeply is to hand your enemy a weapon, and to be seen caring is to offer your neck to the knife. Machiavelli didn't see the world as a moral playground. He saw it as a battlefield. And on that battlefield, emotions are liabilities, feelings are weaknesses, sympathy is a luxury. And those who cannot detach will always kneel before those who can. To not care, truly not care, is not apathy, it is clarity. It is to see the game for what it is and play it without illusion. It is to watch betrayal unfold and not flinch, to be lied to and remain silent, to see manipulation and smile politely knowing you won't be moved. This is not about becoming cruel, it's about becoming controlled. There are people who will test you, people who feed off your reactions. They want to trigger your anger, spark your jealousy, feed your insecurities. Why? Because it makes them feel powerful. And the more you care, the more power they hold. But when you learn the cold art of indifference, their weapons bounce off your armor. You become unreadable, untouchable. You become the chess player, not the pawn. Machiavelli wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than to be loved if one must choose." But fear does not always come from aggression. Sometimes it comes from silence, from mystery, from the chilling sense that you cannot be moved. In today's world, the emotional man is paraded as authentic. They tell you to be vulnerable, to cry, to open up. And while there is a place for that, make no mistake, not everyone deserves access to your soul. To be emotionally open with the wrong people is to hand a dagger to a smiling assassin. So what does it mean to become emotionally untouchable? It means you've trained yourself to observe before reacting. It means you've built a wall not to keep others out, but to keep your power in. It means you've realized that not every battle deserves your energy. Not every insult deserves your pride. Not every love deserves your loyalty. Most people are predictable. Trigger their ego and they explode. Ignore them and they panic. Praise them and they follow you blindly. But the man who controls his emotions controls the room. He doesn't beg to be understood. He doesn't chase closure. He doesn't need validation. His calmness is terrifying. His silence is loud. To not care doesn't mean you never feel. It means you choose when, where, and with whom to feel. It means your emotions serve you, not enslave you. Machiavelli would tell you, if you want power, stop giving others the blueprint to your mind. Stop reacting. Stop explaining. Stop bleeding for those who would not bandage your wounds. The man who appears emotionless is not empty. He is focused. He has learned that most people will disappoint you, that trust is currency, that affection can be faked, that intentions are often dressed in honey but hide daggers underneath. So he listens more than he speaks. He watches more than he reveals. He acts with precision, not with passion. He is the storm contained in stillness. And when he strikes, he does so with perfect calm. Let them say you're cold. Let them call you heartless.
Let them mock your silence, because deep down, they fear it. They envy it. They know they cannot control you. And in a world obsessed with control, that is your greatest weapon. So master the cold art of not caring. Withdraw your emotions from the marketplace. Give your silence as your response. Let your detachment be your defense. Let your mystery be your mirror. Because the one who does not care cannot be conquered. To master the cold art of not caring, you must unlearn everything the world has taught you. You were raised to believe that kindness is always a virtue, that vulnerability is strength, and that the more open you are, the more love you receive. But this is only half the truth. In Machiavelli's world and in the real world, kindness without caution is exploited. Vulnerability without boundaries is weaponized, and openness in the hands of manipulators is not noble, it is foolish. They will smile as they learn your wounds. They will comfort you only to memorize your patterns, and when the time is right, they will strike, not with swords, but with your own secrets. So the discipline of detachment begins with silence. You must train yourself to speak only when necessary, not out of fear, but out of strategy. Let others flood the space with noise. Let them reveal their motives. You observe. You wait. Every word you withhold builds tension. Every reaction you deny amplifies your strength. You do not need to scream to be powerful. A silent man with eyes like ice commands more respect than a loud man with no control. You learn to detach not because you hate, but because you value your peace. You don't argue to win. You don't chase apologies. You don't waste your breath trying to convince people who already decided who you are. Detachment is not a lack of love. It is love guided by logic. It is care refined by boundaries. It is presence without obsession. You can still feel deeply, but you no longer act impulsively. This is not coldness, this is power. You become the man who is kind but not weak, who listens but does not absorb, who loves but does not cling, who serves but does not kneel. You are not afraid to walk away, not because you don't care, but because you care more about your self-respect than temporary comfort. Most people fear solitude. They fear being misunderstood. They fear being the one who walks away first. But Machiavelli would remind you, power belongs to those who can stand alone. Because the man who fears being alone will always be controlled by those who offer him company. But the man who embraces isolation cannot be blackmailed with attention. So let the world think you don't care. Let them believe you are cold, distant, removed. They will try to provoke you, to test your limits, to dig into your mind looking for triggers. But you have buried your triggers beneath layers of discipline. You've trained yourself to be immune to insults, immune to praise, immune to flattery. You are no longer a slave to approval. You are no longer addicted to being liked, because you've learned that what most people call love is control. What most people call friendship is convenience. What most people call loyalty is temporary alignment of interests. And when the tide shifts, they will shift too. So you do not build your identity on unstable soil. You build it on stone, on values, on self-respect, on sovereignty. This is the true meaning of being emotionless, not lifeless, but independent, not numb, but invulnerable. You love, but you don't beg. You serve, but you don't shrink. You connect, but you never cling. You let go, not because it hurts less, but because clinging would cost you your power. And when they wonder how you stayed so calm, when they watch their games fail, when they realize they can no longer reach you, that is when you will understand the quiet pleasure of being untouchable. Not cruel, not broken, just sovereign, unshaken, unchained. The final blow, cold but just. The truth is this: most people do not want you strong. They want you reactive, emotional, predictable. They want your weakness visible. They want to pull strings and watch you down.